All right, so first off, we're going to talk about the likelihood of events. But before that, we just have to talk about the basics of what is probability. Okay, so probability is the likelihood that an event will happen. And it can be represented using a fraction. Okay, so the next bullet point, probability is the fraction of the numbers of ways that an event can occur to the number of possible outcomes. So it could also be expressed as a ratio, a decimal, or a percent. We're really going to use it as a fraction or a decimal, and that's about it. Okay, so for this whole unit, we're really just working with fractions and decimals, and that's about it. Okay, so when you're calculating probability, you write the probability as a fraction, where the denominator will be the total number of outcomes, and the numerator will be the number of ways an event can occur. Then you simply simplify the fraction, and then rewrite it as a decimal or percent. Okay, so there's a couple of ways to express probability, and these are really your likelihoods. So if asked what's the likelihood of something happening, what I'm really looking for are these words here. Okay, so that's what I'm really looking for if I ask for the likelihood. Okay, so if something's impossible, there's a 0% chance of it happening. 0% chance of happening. I'm going to skip down to equally likely. So that's saying something is equally likely to happen. So we kind of think that is so. It can happen or it can't. So that's really a 50% chance of something happening. I'm also going to jump down to certain. So if we are certain, that means we are 100% sure that it's going to happen. 100% of chance of happening. Okay, so certain is 100% sure. In between that is unlikely and likely. So in between impossible and equally likely, unlikely falls. So what that means is that has somewhere from a 1 to a 49% chance of happening. So it probably isn't going to happen, but it could. It's just unlikely. And then likely falls between equally likely and certain. So it falls between 51 and 99% of a chance of happening. Okay, so scrolling up a little bit. Here's kind of a bar of understanding. So there they are in fractions, but to just kind of give you it in percentages, this is impossible is a 0% chance. Equally likely is exactly 50%, and certain is exactly 100%. Whereas unlikely goes anywhere from 0 to 50. So it really goes from 1 to 49. And then likely goes anywhere from 50 to 100. So most commonly 51 to 99. Okay. All right. So let's use these ways to express probability. Let's use this vocabulary onto the next page. So my question is, what is the likelihood of the following events occurring? So let's look at number 1. Number 1 says Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, will visit the College of William and Mary tomorrow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just highlight some things I think that are important. Third president and tomorrow. So think about how long ago was the third president? Maybe you don't know. So to put it into perspective, our current president is the 45th president. And they all have roughly 4 years in office. So that's at least 80 some years away or ago. But it's more than that. I'll tell you, it's about 100, 150. Okay, so he lived about 150 years ago. So there, I know that it is impossible for him to show up at the College of William and Mary tomorrow because he's passed away. Okay, he is deceased, so there's no way. Number 2 is kind of it could go either way. It's kind of more of a you question. Think about what's the probability of you riding the bus from home from school today. So think about it. Are you certainly riding the bus? Are you likely riding the bus? Do you have an even chance? Is it impossible? You don't take a bus. You're a walker. You are a car rider. I know for me, I'm a car rider. It's impossible for me to ride the bus. But if you ride the bus every day, it might be certain or likely. So this one's more of a personal one. Number 3 says the school will be canceled tomorrow due to excessive heat. So I know it's been warm lately, but think about what month are we in? We're in March. What are the chances of the school being closed for excessive heat? I would say they're not certain. I would say it's not even likely. And I would say there's not an even chance of it happening. But is it impossible? No. So it's just extremely unlikely. But it's not impossible. All right, what about if we roll a standard die? Will it show a number less than 7? So think about a normal die that you roll in any of your board games. Okay. What are the numbers on that dice, on that die? They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're saying if you roll the dice, will it show a number less than 7? Well, 1 through 6 is less than 7, so I know there's a certainty that that's going to happen. Okay, the next 2 are your homework.